He saw a long string, remember string, on a long stick. A fat man had the long stick in his hand. Fat man. Okay, fat, the word fat is not very nice. It's kind of, don't say fat to a person. I would say this man he's a big man. He's a little bit overweight, but fat is not very nice. People get mad if you say fat, okay? What could the man do with a stick that long? Why did he have a stick that's that long? George was curious. The fat man, careful, don't say fat, it's not a bad word, but it's not a nice word. The fat man was on his way to the lake. On his way to the lake, he's going to the lake. And soon, George was on his way to the lake too. Oh no, George has to go home, not to the lake. Oh no. He's too curious, right? The man took a hook out of his box. This is a hook. Hook. You can catch a fish with a hook. Hook. Out of his box to put it on a string and then put something on the hook. He put the hook on the string and then he put something on the hook. Probably a worm. Probably a worm on the hook. Then the man let the string down into the water and waited. Now George knew the string on the stick was to fish with. The string on the stick was for fishing, to fish, to catch fish. When the man pulled the string out of the water, there was a big fish on the hook. Nice. All right. A big fish on the hook. A fish on the hook, sorry. George saw the man pull one fish after another. One fish after another means a lot of fish. One fish, another fish, another fish. Look, 1, 2. He has a lot of fish. Till he had all the fish he wanted. What fun it must be to fish. What fun it must be to fish. George wanted to fish too. He had his string. Okay. All he needed was a stick. George needed a stick. And he knew where to get that. George ran home as fast as he could. Oh, good. George went home now. That's good. He ran home as fast as he could. In the kitchen, he took a mop. This is a mop. He took a mop off the kitchen wall. Off the wall, he took the mop. The mop would make a good stick. Now, George had the string and the stick. He was all set to fish. All set means he was ready. He was all ready. Okay, all set means ready. Or was he? Not yet. Not ready yet. George had to have a hook, and on the hook, something that fish like to eat. So he needed a hook and something to eat. Look, oh my gosh. Fish would like cake. This is cake. And George knew where to find some. Okay. But where could he get a hook? Why, there was a hook for the mop on the kitchen wall. It's this hook right here. See? A hook for the mop on the kitchen wall. It would have to come out. Oh no, that's not good. He pulled the hook. I guess it worked because there it is. With the hook on the string and the string on the stick, so the hook on the string and the string on the stick and the cake in the box, oh my goodness, in his hand, George went back to the lake. George sat down, put some cake on the hook, and let the line down into the water. This is string, but in fishing, you call this a line. Fishing line. Okay, this is the fishing line or string. Okay, now he had to wait, just as the man had waited. George was curious. Oh wow, look how many fish. That's a ton of fish. The fish were curious too. All kinds of fish came to look at the lion. All kinds of fish means there's big fish, little fish, red fish, blue fish, right? One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Okay, lots of fish. Oh wow, look here it says, big fish and little fish, fat fish, careful, and thin fish, thin, red fish and yellow fish and blue fish, red, yellow, blue. Wow. One of them was near the hook, The cake was just what he wanted. The fish wanted the cake. Do you think this hook is going to catch a fish? I don't know, because it's not a fishing hook. It's a hook for the mop. So I don't know. We'll see. George sat and waited. Then the line shook. The line shook. That's good. That means a fish is on the line. Okay? There must be a fish on the hook. Ooh. George pulled the line up. The cake was gone. But no fish was on the hook. Too bad. So the fish ate the cake, but George didn't catch the fish. George put more cake on the hook. Maybe this time he would get a fish. But no. The fish just took the cake off the hook and went away. The fish just took the cake. It ate the cake and left. Well, if George could not get the fish would not get the cake. All right. George would eat it. He liked cake too. George ate the cake. He would find another way to get a fish. All right. George looked into the water. That big red one there with the long tail. There's a good fish. It was so near. Maybe he could get it with his hands. Maybe he could grab the fish with his hands. George got down as low as he could, and put out his hand. He reached for the fish. Splash! Into the lake he went. George fell in the lake. Splash! Look at all the water droplets. He made a big splash. The water was cold and wet. And George was cold and wet too. This was no fun at all. And look, all the fish swam away. Wah! The fish swam away. Look, there's a frog. The frog laughed. Ha ha ha. The frog thought it was funny. When he came out of the water, Bill was there with his kite. Here's Bill with his kite. My, you are wet, Bill said. I saw you fall in. So I came to help you get out. Too bad you didn't get a fish. Too bad you did not get a fish. Too bad means, well, that's too bad. I'm sorry. But it is good the fish did not get you. So the fish could have eaten George. Now, I can show you how high my kite can fly. Kites can fly really high. Bill went on. Bill put his bike up near a tree. He put his bike against the tree. And they ran off. Oh, look at that. That's cool. There was a lot of wind that day. Wind. And that was just what they needed. They needed wind. They liked that. The wind took the kite up fast. George was too little to hold it in this wind. That means George, he wasn't strong enough. There was so much wind that George wasn't strong enough to hold on. Okay? And here is Bill. Bill was strong enough. A kite that big could fly away with him. Maybe if George held the kite, he would fly away too. He'd fly away. So Bill had to hold it. Bill held the kite. George saw the kite go up and up and up. Whee! What fun it was to fly a kite. They let the kite fly for a long time, till Bill said, "I will get the kite down now. I must go home, and you should too. Time to go home." But when Bill pulled the string in, the kite got into the top of a high tree. Oh no. The kite got stuck in the tree. Got stuck. Bill could not get it down. He couldn't get it down. "Oh, my fine new kite. I cannot let go of it. I must have it back." This means, I need my kite. I don't want to leave the kite in the tree. But the tree is too high for me. Well, look, George is a monkey. Monkeys climb trees. So, let's see. There we go. But no tree was too high for George. The tree was too high for Bill, but not too high for George. He went up to the top in no time. In no time means really fast. Really fast. Then, little by little, he got the string out of the tree. He got the string out of the tree. That's pretty cool. Okay. Down he came with the kite and gave it back to Bill. George went down and he gave the kite to Bill. "Thank you, George. Thanks a lot," Bill said. "I am so happy to have the kite back." Bill is happy. "Now you may have a ride home on my bike." So Bill is going to take George on the bike. "I will run back to the lake and get it. You wait here for me with the kite, but do not let it fly away." So he said, wait with the kite, but don't fly the kite. Uh-oh. Oh no. George looked at the kite and he took the string in his hand. He knew he could not fly the kite in this wind, but maybe he could let it go up just a little bit. Bad idea. Bad idea. George was curious. He let the string go a little. So he let it go a little. Okay? A little. And then a little more. And then a little more. And then a little more. Uh-oh. Look, there's a lot of wind. A lot of wind. Look at George. When Bill came back, there was no kite and there was no George. "George," he called, "where are you?" Then he looked up. There they were, way up in the sky. Bill had to get help fast. Look, George and the kite are in the sky. In the sky. Bill had to get help fast. He would go to the man with the yellow hat. The man would know what to do. So George went away fast on his bike. Ha, 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 ha. "George is not here," said the man with the yellow hat when Bill came. "George isn't here. Have you seen him? Have you seen George? George and my kite are up in the sky near the lake," Bill shouted. "George and my kite are in the sky. I came to..." But the man did not wait to hear any more. He ran to his car and jumped in. "Huh! I will get him back," he said. "I must get George back. He has to help George. Get George back." Wow. George is so high. He's so high. All this time, the wind, all this time means the whole time, like during this time, the wind took the kite up and George with it. It was fun to fly about in the sky. It was fun to fly. But when George looked down, the fun was gone. That means it was not fun anymore. He was up so high that all the big houses looked as little as bunny houses. All the houses looked tiny because George was up so high. George did not like it a bit. That means he didn't like it at all. He did not like it. He wanted to get down. But how? Not even a monkey can jump from the sky. You can't jump from the sky or else you'll get hurt. Oosh, ouch. George was scared. What if he never got back? Oh no. Maybe he would fly on and on and on. Uh-oh. Oh, he would never be so curious again. So fly on and on means fly forever. If just this one time he could find a way to get home, he would never be so curious again if he could find a way to get home. What was that? George could hear something, and then he saw something fly in the sky just like a kite. Look! It was a helicopter. This is a helicopter. And in the helicopter, hurrah, was the man with the yellow hat. Wow. How did the man with the yellow hat get a helicopter? How? And how does he know how to fly a helicopter? I don't know, but that's good. Down from the helicopter came a long line. Remember, so line and string can be similar. So this is a string or a line or a rope. All right. George got hold of it. That means he grabbed on. He got hold of the line. And the man with the yellow hat pulled him up. George held on to the kite because he had to give it back to Bill. He held onto the kite with his foot. Because monkeys have feet, or have hands for feet, okay? They can grab with their feet. All right. I am so happy to have you back, George. That means I'm so happy that you are back, that you are okay. I was scared, and you must have been scared too. You were probably scared too. I know you will not want to fly a kite again for a long, long time. George was probably so scared that he won't want to fly a kite again. You must give it back to Bill when we get home. Give the kite back to Bill. Look, there's Bill. Hurrah! Bill shouted when George came to give him the kite. So hurrah means... Hurrah is not a very common word, but it means yay, woohoo, all right, hurrah. George is back and my kite is back too. That's good. There's Bill's house and Bill's bike. And then Bill took George by the hand. He took him by the hand. He grabbed his hand, and went with him into the little garden. Oh, look. That's Bill's garden. Oh, Bill's garden. And from the little garden into the big garden, where the bunny house was. So look, this is a house. It's this house. This is Bill's house. That's cool. Bill's house. Here is one of my baby bunnies, Bill said. Look, he gave George a bunny. Take it, It is for you. It is for you. It's a gift. It's a present. A baby bunny for George. George took it in his hands and held it way up. It was his bunny now. All right, it was George's bunny. He could take it home with him. And that is what he did. George took the bunny to his house, and look, he gave the bunny a carrot to eat. Yum, that's awesome. George has a baby bunny. What's the bunny's name? Leave a comment to tell me what's the bunny's name. I don't know. What do you think? Leave a comment with the bunny's name. All right, great. All done.